Did you know that having a structured business plan could increase your law firm's profitability by 70%? Welcome to the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast, where we deliver financial planning insights and business insights for ambitious law firm owners so you can enjoy more time, more abundance, and less stress, even if you're still growing your law practice. I'm your host, Darren Wurz, and today we're diving into how a simple business plan could unlock serious profits for your law firm. Welcome to part 5, the last installment of our series on Grow Your Firm, business planning for law firm owners. Think about this. What would it mean for your law firm to increase your profitability by 70% without adding extra hours or overwhelming yourself with more clients? Studies show that law firms with a clear business plan grow faster and generate significantly more profit. Stay tuned. In this episode, friends, I'm going to share with you today how a one-page business plan can become your roadmap to success. Finally, we're here, part 5. We've been talking about all the things that will scale and grow your practice, relentless execution, the 4 C's of intangible capital, how to replace yourself in your law practice, our secret formula for scaling your practice. And today we're going to talk about putting it all together in your business plan and how you can start crafting one today. Exciting stuff. Now, as a law firm owner, you've got so much going on. You've got enough on your plate. Why add one more thing, right? Business planning. Oh, crap, really? Well, a solid business plan doesn't just give you direction. It gives you clarity. And it's so powerful. There's nothing really like secret about business planning. It just really, the process of doing it is tremendously powerful. It's powerful for you, the owner, because it gives you a perfectly clear picture of where you're going and it helps you stay focused. If you're like me, you get distracted by all kinds of things, but a business plan will give you great clarity. Without a plan, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day too. You're just busy, doing the grind, right? Working, doing the stuff that needs to be done, jumping from one task to another, if you're like me. And that can mean that you're not making any meaningful progress towards the bigger picture. Businesses that create a business plan are twice as likely to grow, secure investments, hire new employees than those that don't. And as we mentioned in the open, 70% more profit on average. So let's break that down, right? If you have $100,000 in profit, a simple business plan could add $70,000 in pure profits to your operations. If you're at $1 million in profit, $700,000 in profit just by business planning, if you haven't done that already. It is powerful, folks. A formal plan serves as a roadmap for progress and accountability. How'd you like to have 70% more profit? Well, business planning will do that for you. Yes. So, sounds like a great investment of time to me, right? But here's the thing. 60% of small business owners admit, and maybe you're here too, that they never updated or revisited their business plan after initially creating it. Failing to adapt and adjust plans over time puts you at risk of stagnation. That's why we talked last time about relentlessly executing. You've got to be relentless. And how do you be relentless? How do you relentlessly execute? You make the business plan how you operate day in and day out through vision, alignment, accountability, and rhythm. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't. Okay, let's dive in. The components of a business plan. What does a business plan look like? Is it a 20-page document, a 100-page document that I've got to send to a bank to get financing? No. Here at Wurz Financial Services, we have a 1-page business plan template. You may have heard of a business planning canvas. In EOS, they have the VTO, the Vision Traction Organizer. We have our own version adopted for law firms. We call the 1-page strategic business plan. It puts everything on 1 page. It's simple. In one view, you know exactly where you want to go. You know exactly the things you're measuring. You know exactly what's happening. 1 page. That's all you need. That's all it needs to be. 1 page. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So there are 5 sections in our 1-page business plan. They are columns. The first column is your purpose. Your core values and beliefs, right? It's your purpose. The second one is your 10-year vision. The third one is your strategic intent or your 3 to 5 year target. Your next one is your annual goals, 1-year goals, and then you break it down into quarterly rocks. So the basic concept here is you take a really big, audacious, crazy goal, which you should have, by the way, and I'll talk about that. And you break it down into bite-sized chunks. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay. One small bite at a time. Break it down into incremental pieces so that each quarter you are executing on the things that are going to move you towards your big, huge vision for the future. Let's start with the foundation of your business plan, your purpose. This is the most important part, by the way. And many times we want to skip over it and skip to the goals. So here's the things I want to do. Well, you won't know. You have no idea what things you need to do and accomplish this quarter unless you've done the purpose. Without a clear purpose, it's hard to know if the decisions you're making are aligned with where you're trying to go. Purpose gives you clarity, direction, and focus. There are 4 key elements to defining your firm's purpose in our version: core values, your purpose statement, your niche, and your ongoing actions. So let's talk about core values. When we talk about core values, too often we hear the same old generic bullshit. And that's what it is. Integrity, professionalism, hard work. Okay, yes, blah, blah, blah. Those are everybody's core values. Those are boring. Don't get me wrong, those are important. But I mean, if those aren't part of what you're doing, why are you in business at all to begin with? I mean, doing the right thing for the client. Okay, yes, everybody wants to do the right thing for the client. You got to do that in order to not get in trouble with the bar. So, I mean, that's everybody's core value. Your core value should be unique. The problem is these words are so broad and vague, they don't really communicate anything specific. And when people hear them, they don't mean anything. Professionalism, it just goes over people's heads. Blah. Boring, right? Get out of boring, right? Be specific. These generalities are things that can apply to any business, any law firm, which means they are not going to help you stand out. And that's what your core values need to do. They need to make you stand out and separate you from everybody else. So you need to go deeper. Move beyond the surface level words and dig into the unique, powerful values that reflect your DNA. And not just your DNA as a law firm owner, but the DNA of your team. That's what it is. So, some things to think about. Make your values reflect your team's culture now. Who are you right now? So start by looking at who the people are on your team that are just great. What are the things that make them great? What are the things that you want to see more of in more people? What are the common traits among your team that really make you guys different? Identify what truly sets your firm apart from other law practices. And when we did this in our firm, going through these exercises, one of ours is delivering consistent, tangible value. Not all financial advisors deliver consistent, tangible value, by the way. A lot of financial advisors are just portfolio managers that you give them your money and then they manage your money for you and then you don't hear from them for 3 years. We said, we don't want to be that way. We want to deliver consistent, tangible value all the time. So that is a part of what we do. That's a part of our business model where we're delivering monthly, actual, tangible deliverables every single month of the year. And we create a customized schedule for clients where we're going to do that consistently. So that becomes a way we do business. So these things will inform the way you do business that are going to be different from other law practices. Align your core values with the client experience. That's one. Delivering consistent, tangible value. That's one of ours. That could be one of yours, but make yours unique, of course. Don't steal mine. Align them with how the client is going to experience the delivery of service. And then finally, make them specific and action-oriented. Not just one word, professionalism. Make that more words. Use more words. Use 5 to 7 words to define professionalism might be one of them, but define what that means. because it's so vague, it's so generic, it doesn't mean anything. If one of yours is client communication, let's throw that out and change that to rapid responsiveness within 24 hours, no matter what. See how that's powerful? And that is now something we can use to define how we do business, right? So that's, take out client communication. Okay, yes. Make that more powerful, more specific, more action-oriented. Okay. Next, after your core values, is your purpose statement. This should be short, punchy, 5 to 7 words that sums up what you are all about, kind of like a tagline, something that has real substance, something like advocating for small business owner rights or providing justice for injured workers. It's simple but powerful. Ours at Wurz Financial Services, setting and achieving big goals. That's what we're all about. For ourselves, for our clients, we're all about big goals. Yes, that's what we're all about here at Wurz Financial Services. So your purpose statement, what are you all about? Why are you in business? And then that becomes a guiding light for everything that you do. So you've got your core values, you've got your purpose, then you come down to your niche. Niche is a little bit bigger. It's going to be more descriptive. It's your unique ability. It's the thing that you do for your clients. It's the thing that you do that's different for you. What makes you stand out in a crowded market? Why should clients choose you over another firm? We were going through core values. Let me just back up to core values. We were going through core values with a client recently, and he was giving us some vague answers. And I asked him about his niche, and it was really hard. He was like, okay, well, we do this kind of work, and we're in this line of practice, this practice area, and I was like, okay, just start talking, and describing. And as he was talking, it wasn't the actual words he was saying, but I got this like sense of like calm confidence and compassion. And I was like, ooh, we need to make that part of your niche, that you're going to provide legal services in a way that is calm, it gives clients confidence and is compassionate. It's like, ooh, now we're getting somewhere. It's not just we do personal injury. What about personal injury work is unique to you, makes you different, right? That's really crucial. That's what's going to set you apart, and you can use that then in your marketing. That becomes a core. It's so easy, by the way, to get so lost and sidetracked in marketing. Ooh, chasing this over here. Ooh, chasing that over there. Having a really well-defined purpose, having a really well-defined niche is going to give you so much clarity in your marketing. You're not going to waste so much time and effort and money on all kinds of nonsense. It's going to make you laser focused. Okay, the last part of the purpose is your ongoing actions. And these are simply the things that you're doing all the time in your practice that bring those core values to life, right? So if it's rapid responsiveness within 24 hours, what kind of a system do you have to do that for clients, right? What are the things you do in your law firm? Maybe not just with clients, with team members as well. How you operate as a team in your culture, in the things you do on a daily basis that make those core values come to life in your practice. Okay. So core values, purpose, niche, and ongoing actions. Those are a part of your purpose, a purpose statement. And then, I know they're kind of duplicated there, but that's all purpose. Okay. That's one section. Then we move to the big goal, and then we get more specific in terms of where you want to go. So the big goal, this is your big, hairy, audacious goal. Dan Sullivan calls it your 10X goal. I like that because it gives us a way to make it big. Take your revenue and 10X it. That's where you're targeting, right? If your revenue is $1 million, 10 million, and it's your 10-year vision. Your 10-year vision should be 10 million. It should be 10 times where you are today. But make it not just about revenue and profit. Make it about the kind of law firm, the kind of organization that you want to have. And you may be thinking, well, I can't talk about profit and revenue with the team. That's weird. Well, it's only weird if you make it weird, right? It's only weird if you're hoarding all the profit for yourself. Okay. So communicate how that is going to be tied to employee compensation. Now, obviously, you can't necessarily share in profits of a law firm, the bar rules and all that jazz. But there are ways that you can reward employees, and tie that to profitability. Maybe not directly, but profitability can be something that the whole firm is striving towards. Anyway, think about how you're going to, what your law firm is going to look like in 10 years, not just in profit, but in terms of everything else. Part of achieving this vision is knowing also who your ideal clients are. What kind of clients do you want to serve in 10 years? Maybe you want to be the go-to firm for small businesses in a particular region or specialize in a niche practice area. Define exactly what that means and make your target market a part of that as well. From there, now once you've got, that's really the big thing. That you should spend a lot of time there, a lot of time really focusing and clearly defining what your big goal is. And it should say something about the kind of organization you want to have, right? What you want your organization to look like in 10 years. That's really, really important. Then it becomes simple. Break it down into KPIs, right? If we want a certain revenue level, how many clients do we need? What does our profit margin need to be, right? How many new cases a year do we need to have? You can then break it down into specific measurable things that are going to get you there. And these become your 3 to 5 year goals. What are the milestones that are going to keep you on track to your big goal? Think about what needs to happen in 3 to 5 years. Do you need to double your client base, expand your legal team, move into a bigger office? These are goals that can be measurable and can be tied to KPIs or key performance indicators so that you're moving in the right direction. Some things could be like, operating expenses, average fee per client, cost of client acquisition, things like that. The time it takes between when a client has their first consult and when they sign as a client. All of these things are going to drive revenue and profitability for you. And so these should be goals that you can set, how we want to change this to X, right? We want the time between the lead time to be only 1 month or whatever it is, right? How can you focus on, some key numbers there? I want to also mention that these things don't necessarily conflict with clients' best interests. I was talking with a bankruptcy attorney client, and we were talking about how we could reduce the lead time, right? The time between when the client has the consult and when the client signs. And they were talking about how sometimes it's years. And I'm like, holy crap. And they were also talking about how when the client comes to them and has the consult, it's like they are in like a pants on fire situation and they need to file bankruptcy now. And oftentimes they wait so long, they just make the situation worse and worse and worse. And so we were talking about, well, one of the things that you can do, to improve your profitability is to speed up that lead time and see how you can be better at sales. How can your sales people, the people doing those initial consults, improve their skills? And there was some resistance there because we started to mention, use the S word, the sales word, right? And it's like, oh, well, that might run afoul of working in clients' best interest. And I said, well, hold up, wait a minute. Because you told me when the clients come to you for that consult, they need to file bankruptcy now, not 2 years from now. So speeding up the client lead time, yes, it's better for you revenue-wise. But yes, it's better for the client. You are doing what's in the best interest of the client. Actually, you have a fiduciary responsibility to sell that client on filing bankruptcy. Wow. That's your fiduciary responsibility is to get that client to file because they need to file because it's in their best interest. So don't think that your mission to achieve higher revenue and profit is conflicting. No, building a better law firm only serves clients better. It truly does. Now, obviously, if you get into fraud or stuff like that, then then you're putting profits ahead of the clients, and that's not what we want to do. And that's why we have the core values. The core values are going to keep you on mission. More profit is not your only core value. If it is, that's where you get in trouble. There's a lot of businesses that have said, your core values should define who you are and not who you want to be. I mean, there's a lot of businesses that have said their core values are X, Y, and Z, but actually their core values is making as much damn money as possible, and then they get into trouble, right? So your core values should really be who you are, and they should be reflected in what you do and how you do business. Okay. So 3 to 5 year goals, you set those targets, then you're going to break it down into your annual goals. Once you have your 3 to 5 year goals, you need to break that down into annual goals, where you want to be 12 months from now or at the end of this calendar year. If your 10-year goals, 10 million in profit, your 3 to 5 year goals, 5 million in profit. At the end of this year, we need to be at 1 million in profit. Okay. So then where do we need to be quarterly? Then you break that down into your quarterly rocks. Where are you going to be at the end of this quarter that's going to be moving you more towards achieving those things, right? These are the immediate tangible goals that are going to move you in that direction. It could be creating a client email database for the first time, right? It's going to be those specific things that are going to move you towards that 3 to 5, that annual goal. Your annual goal is $1 million, so your quarterly revenue needs to be $250,000. Okay, where do we need to be? How many clients do we need to have? What does our close rate need to be? How many leads do we need to have? Right? Break that down. Are you tracking your leads, by the way? Come on now. Maybe that's a quarterly rock. So then the quarterly rock becomes you have your KPIs, which are your measurables. Then you have your quarterly rocks. Quarterly rocks are the new things you're going to do this quarter that are going to improve those KPIs. Right? So we need to improve our close rate. Are we tracking our leads? Are we tracking clients closed? If not, we need to start doing that. Okay, so maybe a quarterly rock then becomes setting up a lead tracking system. Okay, maybe a quarterly rock, we don't have an email campaign. Or maybe by just having an email campaign, we could bring in some of those old clients or those old leads that never signed with us, that maybe now they're in a position where they're like, okay, I'm ready to go. Okay, so maybe you need to hire somebody at $15 an hour to put together an email database for you and set up an email system. Some other things you can focus on are all the things that we talked about before, the 4 C's of intangible capital. How are you going to improve your customer capital? How are you going to improve your human capital? How are you going to improve your structural capital? How are you going to improve your social capital? All of those 4 C's we talked about. How are you going to make improvements in those areas? Remember, those areas are going to drive growth and profitability for your practice. Things that can de-risk your operations. What are the steps you need to take that are going to insulate your operations from risk? Do you need to adopt more of a team approach? How can you make the firm more owner independent? Maybe you need to update your standard operating procedures. Maybe you need to create your standard operating procedures for the first time. Oh, that doesn't sound like it generates revenue. Well, actually it does, because it's going to get everybody aligned. Remember, relentless execution. It's going to get everybody on the same page. It's therefore going to increase efficiency, and efficiency means more profit. Lastly, scaling yourself. Scaling your law firm by replacing yourself, rather. Taking those steps. What is a small step you can take this quarter? I can delegate this one task. I can offload this aspect of what I'm doing, right, to drive the organization forward. So think about all of those things. Okay, so there's your business plan. The main thing. Now we've got a whole 1-page business plan template. And if you schedule a consult with me, an introductory call, the link is in the show notes. I will give you my 1-page business planning template, and you can use it yourself. I'll give it to you for free. Okay. So, and I'll also share with you some additional information on how you can start implementing this in your practice. All right. In our last episode, we talked about relentless execution, how great companies like Amazon and Apple maintain alignment with their goals through clear, focused action. It's no different for your law firm. Having a solid business plan helps you execute with precision. And regularly reviewing and updating this plan is how you make sure you're moving in the right direction, how you don't become Kodak or Blockbuster. Look where that ended up for them. So it all relates back to relentless execution. The business plan then becomes how you do business. So on a quarterly basis, you're reviewing those quarterly rocks. Every person, every member of the team has a rock that they're responsible for this quarter to move the organization forward. And that's above and beyond their regular duties, right? You have an intake team. Yeah, they're doing their intake thing, but then this quarter, you also expect them to start tracking the leads. Okay, so there's a specific action that everybody has, and then each quarter, everybody reports. Now, you don't wait until the end of the quarter to see how everybody did. You're going to check in every month to see how they're doing, for them to report on their progress. And you're also going to check in mid-month before those monthly check-ins to make sure they're on track and see if they need any additional resources or support. That's how you keep the bus moving forward. And that becomes how you take that business plan and make it a part of how you do business. It is as important as the client intake. It's as important as the legal work. You've got to make this a part of your daily schedule, your weekly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly schedule. Reviewing, updating the business plan. Everybody's got their rocks or their bricks. I love that. Quarterly bricks, one of our clients calls it. Those are going to build your organization. So now it's your turn. Start by defining your purpose and mapping out your 10-year vision. Who do you want to serve? What do you want to achieve? Break it down into your 3 to 5 year goals. Then break it down to annual milestones. And finally, your quarterly rocks. It's so simple, but it is so powerful. If you want help with this, reach out to me. We can definitely assist you in this process. And here's one small, simple thing you can do today. Take 10 minutes today to redefine your core values. Pick one of those overused generic values like integrity or professionalism and challenge yourself to make it more specific and action-oriented. And write them down. I talked with a couple of law firm owners recently. I said, we were talking about core values. And like, oh yeah, we have those. But they weren't written down. Useless. Up in there, up in your head, floating around somewhere. No, you don't have core values. Not at all. If they're not written down somewhere, if they're not written down and plastered everywhere, you don't have core values. So think about it. What does this value look like in your practice? How does it show up in the way you treat clients, in the way you work as a team? Not just outward, but inward. And the way you approach legal work. Instead of just integrity, how about radical transparency? Ooh, now that's different. Think about that. Take 10 minutes, write down your goals, work with your team. Really dig deep on that. Remember, creating a simple, actionable business plan is your starting point to 70% more profit. You want 70% more profit next year? Let's do it. Let's do it. Get on the business planning bandwagon. The firms that grow faster and become more profitable are the ones with a clear business plan. This isn't just about hitting revenue goals. It's about creating the firm that gives you more freedom of time and money and a future worth looking forward to. If you want to turn your law firm into a true wealth-building asset, having a strategic business plan is key. And if you need help getting started, we are here to guide you. Jump on a call with me. I'll walk you through our 3-step process for turning your law firm into a valuable, scalable asset. You can schedule time with me using the link down below in the show notes. And we'll give you our 1-page business planning template to start mapping out your future growth plan today. This has been the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. This is just exciting stuff. I love to talk about it. I'm your host, Darren Wurz, and I'm happy to be with you here on this journey to expand your business, maximize your profits, and secure your financial future. I can't wait to connect with you again next time. Until then, take care and keep pushing forward.